discussing about very important topic, that is working stress method. Okay, so in GATE examination sometimes questions have been asked from this topic also, that is the working stress method also. Okay, so let us discuss the working stress method, and after the working stress method we will be discussing about the limit state method, because our IS code which we are following, which is IS 456-2000, it is based on the limit state method, not working stress method. Working stress method we used to use this method earlier, in earlier days like 1984, 1985 up to 2000 we used to use this method, the working stress method. But after 2000 we have revised our code IS 456 in the year 2000. After that we are using the limit state method. So there are a lot of advantages of using limit state method over this working stress method, as well as the ultimate load method. There is another method known as the ultimate load method. So what are the advantages of using LSM? I will be discussing in subsequent videos, but first of all we should know that what is working stress method and why it was discarded, and why there was a need for revision in the IS code in the year 2000. Okay, so now let us discuss the basics of working stress method. Okay, now students, let me tell you the basic of working stress method in, let us say, in very short, right? In very short. For example, let us say that you have designed a slab as per the working stress method, or a beam as per the working stress method. Now the working stress method philosophy is that it does not cross the elastic range. It does not cross the elastic range. It means that, because I have already told you that the stress strain curve for concrete, it is initially parabolic, but for idealized behavior we can also assume it to be straight initially, right, up to the elastic length. After that it behaves as a plastic in nature, right? Similarly for steel also, initially it is elastic and after that it is plastic in nature. Okay, but in working stress method what we are doing, actually we are not going beyond this region, that is the elastic region. So we are not crossing the elastic region. It means that because here also the concrete as well as the steel, they have a lot of strength, but what we are doing, we are not using that strength, we are just using the elastic range strength. So in working stress method we are not crossing this limit. Actually we are assuming that concrete and steel, they behave as an elastic material. It means that if you remove the loading, they will return back to their original position. Okay, now another thing, it is a deterministic approach. Deterministic approach means, here in the working stress method we actually know that which type of loading will be there. We know that the loading will not cross elastic range. We already know that. It means that it is a deterministic approach. Okay, another important thing which I was telling you, I forgot to tell you, it is that in very short, if you want to classify working stress method or explain working stress method to someone, let us say it is a layman. Okay, you want to explain him the working stress method. If he asks you that what is working stress method, just tell him that, suppose that you have designed a slab. Okay, now in working stress method we are designing the slab as with the service loads. So what are service loads? For example, you have designed the slabs for, let us say, 100 people. Let us say you have designed the slabs for 100 people, and it is a office building. Let us say it's an office building, and you know that after doing a lot of calculation, after doing some survey, you came to know that maximum 100 people can be there in this office. So if you are adopting the working stress method, what you will do? You will design the slab for 100 people only. Now what is the drawback? You said, sir, if you have done the research, that 100 it is okay, but the drawback is that you have designed it for the service load. But suppose that there is some birthday party or some celebration, or let us say that there is some farewell party of some, so there is a probability that people more than 100 can be there. So if you have designed that slab as per the working stress method, there is high probability that the slab will fail. So does it look really authentic or realistic? No, because obviously there should be a factor of safety multiplied with it. Okay, but what we are doing is that we are designing it with the service load, for the service loads, not for the ultimate loads. It means that we are just restricting ourselves to the elastic range only. We are not going to the plastic range. Okay, and in the working stress method, when you design everything, you have got the strength. Ultimately, what is the basis of design, or you can say what is the crux of design, what is the reason for design, is that you should know the strength of that particular structure, that at this much of loading or this much of stress the structure will fail. Now in working stress method, when you get the strength, what you do, you divide the strength with a factor of safety. Now what is factor of safety? Factor of safety simply means that, for example, I am a human being. Let us say I can hold, let us say, a maximum of 100 kgs on my shoulders, let us say, okay. So if you are putting on my shoulders a weight of, let us say, 50 kgs, so how much more I can still hold? I can still hold double that weight. Obviously if my total capacity of holding a weight is 100 kgs and you are giving me just 50 kgs, obviously more 50 kgs I can hold. It means that my factor of safety at that time is actually 2. But suppose that if you are giving me load more than 100 kg, what I will do? I will collapse. Okay, so that is basically factor of safety. So in engineering terms, the factor of safety, it means that the strength of material divided by the permissible stress. Okay, so my strength was 100 kg, right? And the permissible stress which you were giving, it was 50 kg. So my factor of safety will be 100 divided by 50, which is 2. But if you are giving me more than that, what will happen? My factor of safety will be 0 point something. It means that I will collapse. Okay, so that is basically a factor of safety. So in working stress method, we are designing your strength, the strength which you will be getting after designing, by a factor of safety. So you get the strength of that material or beam or whatever, strength divided by the factor of safety. Clear? So this is the working stress method. Now, the factor of safety given by the code, the earlier codes, because in IS 456-2000, a very little has been mentioned about working stress method, because nowadays we are not using that. But still, this question is important. Which is the question? The factor of safety. So in working stress method, the factor of safety for concrete is taken as 3 for bending and 4 for compression. 3 for bending and 4 for compression. Do you have to remember these values? Yes, you have to remember these values. That the factor of safety for concrete is 3 for bending and 4 for compression. And what about steel? It is 1.8 for steel. Okay, so these questions have come in earlier GATE examination. Earlier means GATE examinations before 2001, 2002. These types of questions generally they have been seen in examinations. Okay, now the thing is that when you are solving previous year numericals, again I am repeating, when you are solving some previous year numericals of GATE examination from any source, what you will see, if you are solving some old numericals in RCC, let us say 1995, 1996 year numericals of GATE, now you might get confused because your answers will not match. Don't worry, you have got good concepts, but the thing is that those questions have been solved by the working stress method. But nowadays we are not adopting the working stress method. There are many reasons. First reason I have already told you about the service loads, right? The second thing is that why we are not using it. The second thing is that in working stress method, we are not actually taking the effect of earthquake. Because nowadays you know that, for example, I am in Delhi, so it's an earthquake 4 zone, right? So you must have seen that nowadays a lot of earthquake is coming in Delhi NCR area, okay? So as far as the working stress method is concerned, it has not taken into account the effect of earthquake as well as wind also, right? So it has not taken the effect of all these things. It has not taken the effect of vibrations also. For example, let us say a vehicle is going nearby my home, so there can be some vibrations. Let us say my home is near some railway track. If train is going, there might be some vibrations. So working stress method has not taken into consideration all these effects. Okay, but one important thing is that if you are not allowing your load across this elastic range, okay, suppose that you have designed something as per the working stress method. What it means that your load which will be coming on the structure, it will not exceed the elastic range. If it will not exceed the elastic range, then some things like the cracks, the deflection, they are automatically counted, right? They are automatically counted. If you are not allowing your loads beyond this range, beyond the elastic range, your some small effects like some effects of crack, the effects of some deflection, they are automatically taken into consideration, or they are automatically counted. So you don't need to worry about cracks, you don't need to worry about your deflection, other things, torsion also, right? So this is the that is why the working stress method was discarded, right? Because it takes into consideration only the service load, not the precedental loads, like for example the earthquake loading or some middle loading and something, right? The one more thing why it was discarded, if you are designing any structure by working stress method, because you are dividing it with a factor of safety, and this factor of safety, as far as the engineering point of view is concerned, it is very high. 3 factor of safety, 4 factor of safety is very high. It means that what does 3 factor of safety means? Let us say that I can hold a weight of, let us say, 300 kilogram, but you are not allowing me to, you are not giving me a weight more than 100 kilograms. Okay, so it means that the extra 200 kilograms which I can hold, I am actually not using that strength. Okay, it means that obviously I will be less economical, right? So what happens is that if you are using a high factor of safety, you will have large and big buildings or big structures. The walls will be very thick. What will happen? It will be very less economical. That is why we are not using the working stress method, because there is a very large factor of safety. 3 and 4 is very large. 1.5 is still okay, 1.6 is still okay, even 2 is still okay, but 3 and 4 are very large for design consideration. Okay. Now the thing is that, sir, if we are not using this method, okay, then why are you teaching it actually? Okay, actually this method we are not using in our day-to-day life. For example, beams, columns, we are not using this method, but we are using this method in those structures where we do not feel that some extra load can be there. For example, it's a chimney. Let us say it is a chimney. Okay, now let's say it's a chimney of a thermal power plant. Do you think that 100 people will climb that chimney? No, not at all, right? Do you think that let us say there can be some, let us say if there is for example, let us say that there is a very huge wind, that is also taken into consideration, because we are applying a very large factor of safety, but there is no such probability of some extra loading, right, apart from the self weight of the chimney. Similarly in water tanks. Okay, so a few things like the water tanks, chimneys, they are still designed as per the working stress method, but other normal structures, your beams, your columns, your slabs and other things, they are not designed as per the working stress method. Okay, so this was about the working stress method. Now, okay, so I hope that you have understood the working stress method. Now in next video, very important thing, because some numericals have been asked from this topic, in next video we will be discussing and I will be teaching you a very important thing. There are some derivations of the working stress method and how limit state method has been derived from the working stress method, because a lot of assumptions have been taken from the working stress method. Okay, now in next video I will be telling you the assumptions of working stress method and I will be deriving some equations from the working stress method. After that we will be solving some numericals also. So let's meet at the next video.